The battlefield was a wasteland of shattered earth and swirling dust, the remnants of a war that had raged for days without end. The sky, choked with ash and chakra, pulsed with an eerie crimson glow as the 10 tails loomed over the broken landscape, its monstrous form radiating unfathomable power. Its multiple tails lashed like whips, carving deep fissures into the ground with each movement, while its single, cyclopean eye burned with malice. The air itself trembled under its presence, a living calamity that defied comprehension. Amidst the chaos, Uchiha Sasuke stood firm, his Sharingan spinning rapidly, its crimson patterns dissecting every movement of the beast before him. His cloak, tattered from countless battles, flapped in the turbulent winds, yet his expression remained unreadable, cold, calculating. This was the moment he had prepared for. The power of the 10 tails was beyond anything he had faced, but it was also the key to his ultimate goal, revolution. If he could control it, he could reshape the world, purge its corruption, and enforce his own brand of justice. No more compromises, no more weakness. Opposite him, Uzumaki Naruto staggered to his feet, his breath ragged, his orange jacket torn and singed. His cerulean eyes, usually brimming with determination, were wide with disbelief. "Sasuke! What the hell are you doing?" He shouted over the roar of the beast, his voice strained. He had fought side by side with Sasuke against Madara, against Kaguya, had believed, for a fleeting moment, that they were finally on the same path. But now, seeing his friend's chakra intertwine with the 10 tails, a cold dread settled in his gut. Sasuke didn't answer. Instead, his hands moved in a blur, forming a series of intricate seals. Dark purple chakra erupted from his body, twisting into the skeletal form of Susanoo before rapidly expanding, encasing him in a towering, armored warrior of violet energy. The perfect Susanoo's wings unfurled, casting a shadow over the battlefield, its sword gleaming with lethal intent. But this wasn't enough, not against the 10 tails. With a sharp exhale, Sasuke's Rinnegan flared, and black flames erupted along Susanoo's blade, Amaterasu, the inextinguishable fire. The 10 tails roared, sensing the threat, and swung a massive tail toward him. The impact sent shockwaves through the earth, but Sasuke was faster. Susanoo's sword sliced cleanly through the appendage, severing it mid-swing, the black flames consuming the severed flesh before it even hit the ground. The beast recoiled, its eye narrowing, but Sasuke pressed forward. His Rinnegan pulsed, and suddenly, the 10 tails movement slowed, a gravitational force pulling it down. Shinra Tensei. The ground beneath the creature cracked under the pressure, its massive limbs buckling. Naruto acted before he could think, his body moving on instinct. Golden chakra surged around him as he entered Kurama mode, his whisker marks darkening, his pupils becoming slitted. He lunged forward, a Rasengan forming in his palm, its spiraling energy distorting the air. "I won't let you do this, Sasuke," he bellowed, thrusting the attack toward his friend. Sasuke's Susanoo shifted instantly, its armored hand intercepting the Rasengan with a thunderous clash. The explosion of energy sent both of them skidding back, the ground fracturing beneath their feet. Naruto gritted his teeth, his mind racing. Sasuke was stronger than he remembered, his control over the Rinnegan, his precision with Susanoo, his sheer ruthlessness. But Naruto refused to back down. If Sasuke was going down this path, he would drag him back, even if he had to break every bone in his body to do it. With a roar, Naruto summoned multiple shadow clones, each one forming a Rasen Shuriken. The air hummed with destructive energy as they hurled toward Sasuke in unison. But the Uchiha was already countering, his Rinnegan's ability, Amino Tejikara, allowing him to swap places with one of the clones in an instant. The Rasen Shuriken detonated harmlessly in the distance as Sasuke reappeared behind Naruto, his blade descending in a lethal arc. Naruto barely twisted away in time, the edge grazing his shoulder, drawing blood. He retaliated with a spinning kick, infused with Kurama's chakra, but Sasuke blocked it with Susanoo's forearm, the impact sending visible cracks through the spectral armor. Neither of them held back, every strike was meant to incapacitate, every maneuver a step closer to victory. Then, the 10 tails stirred. Its severed tail had already regenerated, and now, sensing the conflict between the two warriors, it saw an opportunity. With a guttural growl, it gathered chakra in its gaping maw, forming a massive tailed beast bomb. The sphere of condensed destruction crackled with energy, its sheer size blotting out the sky. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. This was his chance. His Rinnegan locked onto the beast, and with a single thought, he exerted his will. The 10 tails hesitated, its movement stuttering as if fighting an invisible force. Then, impossibly, its head turned toward Naruto, the tailed beast bomb now aimed directly at him. Naruto's blood ran cold. You're controlling it? He whispered, horror dawning on his face. Sasuke's lips curled into a smirk. The weak cling to their ideals. The strong impose their will. His voice was ice, devoid of hesitation. This is the only way, Naruto. The 10 Tails unleashed its attack, the world exploding in blinding light. Naruto had only a split second to react. Would he dodge and let the blast ravage what was left of the land, or would he take it head on? His answer came instantly. With a roar, he crossed his arms, summoning every ounce of Kurama's power to form a barrier. The collision was cataclysmic, the force of the explosion ripping through the battlefield, sending shockwaves for miles. When the dust settled, Naruto stood, his barrier shattered, his body smoking, but alive. His gaze locked onto Sasuke, fury and sorrow warring within him. I won't give up on you, he vowed, his voice raw. Not now, not ever. Sasuke's expression didn't waver. Then you'll die with the old world. The battle had only just begun. The battlefield trembled as Sasuke's rinnegan flared, his chakra surging like a storm. The 10 Tails roared beneath him, its massive form now bending to his will, its tails lashing out at Naruto's clones with devastating force. Naruto gritted his teeth, his Kurama-enhanced eyes narrowing as he dodged a crushing swipe, the ground shattering where he'd stood moments before. Damn it, Sasuke, he shouted, his voice raw with frustration. What the hell are you thinking? Sasuke smirked, his Sharingan spinning as he manipulated the beast's movements with eerie precision. Power is the only language this world understands, Naruto. If I control the 10 Tails, I can reshape everything. The beast's maw opened, a gargantuan tailed beast ball forming, its spiraling energy crackling with annihilation. Naruto's clones scattered, but the explosion engulfed half the battlefield, sending shockwaves that ripped through the earth. Naruto wasn't done. With a burst of speed, he launched himself toward Sasuke, Rasengan blazing in his palm. Sasuke countered with a Chidori, the two techniques colliding in a deafening explosion of light and force. The impact sent them skidding backward, but neither faltered. Naruto's 9 Tails cloak flared, his body surging with golden energy as he entered Sage mode, his senses sharpening. He needed to outmaneuver Sasuke's control over the 10 Tails, fast. Sasuke wasn't idle. His rinnegan pulsed, and suddenly, 6 shadowy figures materialized around him, Susanoo clones, each wielding ethereal blades. They lunged, forcing Naruto into a whirlwind of evasion. He ducked under one slash, flipped over another, then countered with a spinning kick that shattered a clone into black mist. But the real Sasuke was already above him, Amaterasu flames erupting from his gaze. Naruto barely twisted away, the black fire searing the air where his head had been. Naruto's mind raced. He couldn't let Sasuke dictate the fight. With a sharp inhale, he summoned a massive Rasen Shuriken and hurled it, not at Sasuke, but at the 10 Tails' legs. The whirling vortex sliced deep, eliciting a pained howl from the beast. Its balance faltered, and Sasuke's control wavered for just a second. That was all Naruto needed. He blurred forward, his fist slamming into Sasuke's gut, sending him crashing into a cliffside. But Sasuke wasn't down yet. His body crackled with lightning as he activated his strongest Chidori variant, the blade elongating into a spear of pure energy. Naruto met it head-on, a Rasengan in each hand. Their clash sent shockwaves rippling outward, the sheer force splitting the earth beneath them. Then, the 10 Tails stirred again, its wounds regenerating. Its tails coiled like serpents, poised to strike. Naruto's eyes widened, he was out of time. With a roar, Kurama's full power surged through him, his form shifting into the ultimate 9 Tails avatar. Sasuke mirrored him, his perfect Susanoo flaring to life, a towering spectral warrior wielding a sword of darkness. The final clash was inevitable. The two titans collided, blade against claw, shaking the heavens. Naruto pushed past his limits, his resolve burning brighter than ever. Sasuke's eyes gleamed with equal determination. This battle would decide everything. And neither would back down. The battlefield trembled as Sasuke's Sharingan blazed crimson, his rinnegan pulsing with raw power. The 10 Tails roared, its massive form writhing under the weight of his control, its chakra surging like a tempest. Naruto's breath hitched, his blue eyes wide with disbelief. How? He muttered, fists clenching. The air crackled with tension as Sasuke smirked, his voice cold and deliberate. This is the power of the Uchiha, Naruto. The power to end this war in an instant. The 10 Tails lashed out, its tail slamming into the earth, sending shockwaves that shattered the ground beneath them. Naruto barely dodged, his Kurama-enhanced reflexes the only thing keeping him alive. Kurama's voice growled in his mind. He's bending its will to his own. This isn't just control, it's domination. Naruto gritted his teeth, his body aching from exhaustion. They'd fought for hours, pushed beyond their limits, yet Sasuke stood unfazed, his resolve unshaken. Sasuke raised a hand, and the 10 tails maw split open, a gargantuan tailed beast ball forming in its jaws. The sheer pressure of its chakra made the air hum. Naruto's heart pounded. This wasn't just an attack, it was annihilation. He couldn't dodge it, couldn't deflect it alone. But then, a flash of gold, Minato's flying thunder god kunai embedded in the ground. Naruto's eyes widened. Dad! In an instant, he teleported, reappearing beside his father's spirit, their hands slamming together. A massive Rasengan spiraled between them, infused with the last of their combined chakra. The tailed beast ball fired, hurtling toward them like a falling star. Naruto roared, hurling the Rasengan forward. The collision was deafening, a shockwave of light and force tearing across the battlefield. The ground split, the sky itself seemed to fracture, and for a moment, everything was blinding white. When the dust cleared, Naruto was on his knees, gasping. His cloak was tattered, his body screaming in protest. Across the crater, Sasuke staggered, blood dripping from his rinnegan. The 10 tails writhed, its control slipping. "You," Sasuke hissed, his voice raw. "You still refuse to accept the truth." Naruto forced himself up, his legs trembling. "The truth isn't yours to decide, Sasuke. We end this together, or not at all." With a final surge of strength, they charged. Sasuke's Susanoo flared to life, a skeletal giant wreathed in black flames. Naruto's Kurama avatar roared alongside him, their fists colliding in a cataclysmic clash. The impact sent shockwaves rippling through the battlefield, the sheer force of their wills tearing at reality itself. Then, a shift. A memory flashed between them, their first fight as children, their rivalry, their bond. Sasuke's eyes wavered. For the first time, doubt flickered in his gaze. Naruto saw it, the opening. His fist connected, not with rage, but with conviction. "I won't let you carry this alone." The Susanoo shattered. Sasuke crashed to the ground, his rinnegan fading. The 10 tails let out a final, mournful howl before collapsing, its chakra dispersing into the wind. The battlefield fell silent. Naruto collapsed beside Sasuke, both of them battered, broken, but alive. The war was over. In the aftermath, the world changed. The villages, once divided, now stood united. Naruto's dream of peace was no longer just a dream, it was a reality forged in blood and sacrifice. Sasuke, his eyes finally clear, looked at the sky. "Maybe. You were right all along." Naruto grinned weakly. "Took you long enough to admit it." The sun rose, casting golden light over the ruined battlefield. A new era had begun.